Back to a fantastic video. Today we're going to be looking at executive power and talking about the sources of executive power. So how our president gets the responsibilities that he has. So first thing, we need to talk about executive power under the Articles of Confederation. So think back all the way to the beginning of the year. I know it's been a while. And let's review the Articles of Confederation. So under the Articles, we did not have an executive branch. We didn't have a judicial branch. We pretty much just had a legislative branch. So the branch that had the most power under the Articles was the legislative branch. So one of the reasons that we wanted to switch from the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution was because we needed an executive branch to lead us. We needed someone who was clearly in charge to be the leader of our country. All right, so the sources of executive power. So now in the Constitution, the article that establishes the executive branch is Article 2. So Article 2 says we're going to have a president of the United States. We're also going to have a vice president. We're going to have some people that the president hires to help him make decisions. We call that the cabinet. And so Article 2 establishes the executive branch of the United States. Now, there's also, let me go back. There's also a specific part of Article 2. It's called the wild card clause. And this clause, and you can just paraphrase this in your notes, this clause says that the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States. Okay, so it doesn't say what executive power is and what executive power isn't. So sometimes that's called the wild card clause. Okay, so I want you to think, and we'll talk about this in class, think about some other clauses or some other amendments that we've talked about that might be kind of similar to the wild card clause. Next, the president is responsible for meeting the immediate needs of the nation. Okay, so those are also sources of executive power. So if we are in, for example, a pandemic, then the president might have some additional powers, some additional responsibilities that he would not have had if we had not been in a pandemic. Okay, if we are at war, the president might have some additional responsibilities, some additional powers that he would not have had we not been at war. If we're in some sort of an economic crisis, like if we're in a Great Depression or if we're in a housing crisis or something like that. So the president can use his authority as the leader of the United States to meet the immediate needs of the nation. The president also has authority from the mandate of the people, okay? And this word mandate kind of sounds like mandatory, okay? So if you are the people of the United States and you are voting for a president and he says or she says whenever they are elected president, they are going to pay teachers $100,000 a year, okay? So if that's one of the things that they campaign on and they are overwhelmingly elected to office, then that's a mandate, right? The people are saying to that person, hey, you said you're going to do this, and this is what I want you to do, okay? So the mandate of the people can also be a source of presidential power. Now, we also have some limits that are placed on presidential power, and we'll get more into that in another video, but presidents can't do whatever they want. They are limited by Congress, right? How are they limited by Congress? Well, Congress has the authority to make laws, but the president has to sign those bills into law, right? But sometimes if Congress doesn't like something that the president has vetoed, then they can override his veto. So the president can't just do whatever he wants. The president is also limited by the Supreme Court, by the federal courts. There are times where the president may sign an executive order and try to get something done, but it goes through the court system and, well, it's unconstitutional, so you can't do it. So just because a person is president, that does not mean that they have unlimited power to do whatever they want. We have a president, not a dictator, okay? They're also limited by public opinion. So if the president makes a decision or has a specific policy and people aren't happy about it, right, they're going to probably write to their congressperson or their senator, or maybe they're going to somehow communicate their dislike of that policy to the president. And if enough people say, hey, I don't like what you're doing, then the president probably shouldn't be doing that, right? Because we, the people, are the ones that give him his job. So if you have any questions, let me know.